Good morning to all. Today we are going to see the topic peripherals and interfacing in PIC microcontroller. So first we are going to see what is I2C bus. I2C is nothing but it is inter-integrated circuit. So an I2C bus is a serial communication protocol which is used to access multiple peripheral chips. Here we can see a diagram. In this diagram, there is one master and there are three slaves. So here, the slave is referred to as the peripheral chips or the slave devices. So the data will be transferred from this one master to the other three slaves. Okay, by using two wires. One is SDA and another one is SCL. So SDA is nothing but it is serial data, and SCL is nothing but it is serial clocker. So here each devices is having a unique address which enables the data transfer between the master and the slave which the master is going to select, or the data to which the master transfers. Okay, so here the data transfer will be bidirectional. It means essentially acting as a shared data highway for low bandwidth communication within a system. Next, let us see how does it work. So here the first one is the start condition. So the master is going to initiate the communication by driving the SDA, that is the serial data line low, while serial clock is high, so signaling the state of a data transfer. Okay, and the next one is slave address. There are three slaves here, right? So first we should know which slave it is going to be, the data is going to be transferred. So the data address is selected, so the master transmit the 7-bit slave address followed by a read or write bit. And next one is acknowledgement. If you are sending any data, then there we will get an acknowledgement. So the same process is done here. So the address slave responds by pulling SDLO during the next clock pulse to acknowledge the address. And what happens after acknowledgement, the data will be transferred. So when the data get transferred, it will be transferred bit by bit while toggling the serial clock. And the last one is the stop condition. So in start condition, what happened? The SDA low while SCL is high. In the stop condition, both the SDA and the SCL will be high to signal the end of the transfer. Okay, so let us see what are the common peripheral devices. So the first one is EEPROM, next one is RTC, sensors, LCD, and ADCs. We know that EEPROM is nothing but electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, and the RTCs here is a real-time clock. That means it is used to precise timekeeping. And the next one is sensors. The common sensors which used are accelerometers, gyroscopes, magnetometers, temperature sensors. Next one is LCD. We know that liquid crystal display. And the last one is the ADC, that is analog to digital converter. It converts analog digital to the signals to the digital. And the next topic which we are going to see here is the UART. The UART is abbreviated as Universal Asynchronous Receiver and a Transmitter. It also uses a serial communication like the I2C bus. So before going deep into the topic, we should know what is synchronous and asynchronous. A synchronous type of transmitter generates only the data flow and it's sent to the receiver, which works accordingly in a synchronized manner. There will be no extra bits like start or stop or parity or any bit like that. But on the other hand, in asynchronous, the type of transmitter, it generates data clock internally. So here in this diagram, that is a UART data packet diagram, you can see there is a start bit at the end, start, and there is a stop bit at the end. There is a parity bit, and there are the data bits. So here the stop bit will be 1 to 2, the parity bit will be 0 or 1, and before that we can see 5 to 9 data bits. This 5 to 9 data bit is called as the data frame, and the whole thing here is called as the UART data packet. So why we are using the UART means it is used to handle a transmission of bit by time. So based on the application, based on the device, and based on the time, the data will be transferred by bit for the given time. So UART is said to handle a transmission of bit by time. So there are two forms of UART. So one is UART and another one is USART. The name itself defines that UA is nothing but asynchronous. And in the next form, we can see SA, that means synchronous and asynchronous. If you see the clock signals and pulses of both these forms, we can understand the difference very easily. So let us see this all these things in future. So let us see here the data packet. The data which is going to be transferred or received in UART serial communication is organized into a specific block, and that block is nothing but it is called as a packet. So next, in the ideal state, the UART lines will be pulled high. So what happens? This allow the receiver side to recognize that there is some data is going to be transmitted from the transmitter end, and which is connected to the serial bus. So here the UART packet usually start with start bit. We can see in the diagram here there is a start bit at the beginning. So which is a very logic low, and that is used to signal the receiver that is very new coming packet here. So let us see one step by step procedure. So the start bit, the UART transmission line will be normally held high. That is logic level will be 1 when there is no data transmission on the line. So when it is going to start the transaction or the transmission, the UART pulls down the transmission line from the low high to the low for one clock cycle. So the UART module at the receiver end detects the high to low voltage transition. It begins reading the incoming bit of the entire data frame at the same frequency of the specified baud rate. Okay. So next, what is here? There is a data frame. The data frame is how many bits? It is 5 to 9 data bits. So here the bits are very limited, right? So in general setting, the LSB, okay, that is the least significant bit, is the first to be shifted out and transmitted unless or otherwise specified here. Okay, and next comes the parity bit here, right? The parity bit is what here? It is logic 0 or 1. So actually the parity bit is used to detect error, and it is also used to add one bit to the even or the odd ones and store them. So the definition we can see here is parity bit allows the receiver to check the correctness of the received data. So parity is a low level error checking mechanism, and it has two operations to choose. So one is the even parity and another one is the odd parity. So let us see how the UART reads the data frame. The data bit here is what, 5 to 9 data bits, right? What the UART does means it reads only, or it counts only the value of ones in the data. It counts the number of bits with a value of 1 and checks if the total value is an even or odd number. If the parity bit is 0, it means even parity. The number of bits with a value of 1 in the data frame should sum up to an even number, right? If the parity bit is a 1, that is odd parity, the number of bits with a value of 0 in the data frame should sum up to an odd number. Likewise, the even parity and the odd parity will be performed here. So when the parity bit matches the data, the receiver UART knows that the transmission was a success one, and the data gets transmitted here. Okay, so at the start, what happens? The transmission line, which is logically held high, will be pulled down. The receiver will detect that, and the data frame, that is the 5 to 9 data bits, will be transferred to the next level, that is the parity. Here the parity bit checks whether it is a even or odd, and it performs the two forms of operations, and then it finally goes to the stopped. Okay, so what the stop does here? At the start, it is pulled from high to low. So at the stop, it will goes from low to high. It means it can understand that the data line is held high back to the idle state and ready for any future transmission. Right here, we can see in the start bit there will be a term baud rate. Right, what we saw here, the UART module detects the high to low voltage transition at the receiver end, which begins reading the incoming bits of the entire data frame at the same frequency of the specified baud rate. So here we can see the term baud rate. The baud rate is one of the important term we should consider in this peripheral and interfacing. So the baud rate is nothing but it is the number of signals which is transmitted per second. So the unit is defined as bps, or we can say it as what, bits per second. So the most common and widely used standardized value is 9600 here. There are a lot of common and standard baud rates, but this is the standardized value, that is 9600. So let us see what are the other standard baud rates. The other standard baud rates are 1200, 2400, 4800, 19200, 38400, 57600, and what, 115200. So here the baud rates are always multiples of 300. You can check here, all these values will be what, it will be multiples of 300. So here the baud rate higher than this can it mean double 15200 bits per second can be used with an additional probability of having what, missing data packets. So the thumb rule of the UART communication is that both the receiver and the transmitter UART must agree on the same exact baud rate for a successful data transmission. Here we can see a block diagram. This block diagram is nothing but UART transmitter block diagram. The receiver block diagram will be just vice versa of this. Okay, so before going deep into that subject, let us see what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this UART serial communication. So, in advantage, we can see here only two wires are required for full duplex data transmission, right? So, what are those lines we saw? SDA and SCL, we saw the lines, right? So only two wires are required. So it is one of the biggest advantage. And the data transmission used here is full duplex. It doesn't include the power lines. And next one, the structure of the data packet can be changed with the coordination between the two ends. Okay. So what are the two ends here? This thing. Okay. So the structure can be what? The structure can be changed with the coordination. And here there is no need for a serial clock signal in the asynchronous mode. At starting, we saw, right, there is no need for the clock signal. And next one is the parity bit provides a hardware level error detection. Okay, so what are the two uses of parity bit? Means it is used to check the error or detect the error, and it adds a bit to the binary code for storage purpose. And the next one is it can be well documented and widely used protocol. It is relatively easy to set up and run. So from all these informations we can understand the advantage, right? So next one is the disadvantage. From the diagram itself we can say what is the disadvantage. So how many in data frames there is, how many data bits, there is only 5 to 9 data bits. So what, the data bit is very limited here, so we can say it as one of the disadvantage. And so see here, the size of the data frame is limited to a maximum value of only 9 bits. Next, the baud rates of each UART must be the same within a limited small error margin. We saw that there is some common and standard baud rates here. Okay, so the baud rates other than this cannot be used. Okay, so there is limitation with a small error margin here. So it is one of the disadvantage. And the speed for data transfer is less compared to parallel communication or even USARTs. Okay, so USARTs are parallel communication. So what is UART? UART and I2C all are what? All are serial communication. So the speed of data transfer is less here. And the last one is doesn't support multiple slaves or multiple masters capability. Okay. So here in I2C we saw that there is a master and there is a three slaves. So here usually there will be one master, but the slaves will be more, right. But here the limit, there is limitation of those masters and slave also. So these are some of the disadvantages of UART serial communication. Thank you so much.